This tutorial is for the final narrative essay proposal. You will not be able to submit your final essay until this proposal has been submitted and graded. So make sure that you do this because you want to do a great job. You want this to be awesome. So this is very helpful. All right, as you know, you've gone through and you've picked an image that you like. And the image concerns a crime that has been committed. Now you have a general idea of what that crime is going to be, and you've given some thought to how you're going to structure the story. The important thing now is to get that down on paper. Nothing helps me as a writer more than having everything in front of me when I sit down to write. So let's take a look at what we're going to do in this proposal. First, you're going to copy and paste this into a new Word document. Let's do that together. So I copied everything out of that sample template. I've opened up a fresh page, and there it is. So I can now fill out mine. I'm going to fill out my name, course, narrative, proposal, date, word count. And I'm going to give my item a working title. I'm going to take that same title image and place it here. Remember, if I had trouble on the images page downloading that image, I can simply take a screenshot of that image and use that in my essay. Now, the first thing I'm going to write here is what crime has been committed in a very short statement. These are not long paragraph statements. The proposal is actually very concise and deliberate. The crime of this story is what? Now, what is the theme of the story? Remember, those themes are something about the human condition, some statement about the human condition. It is one sentence only. If you write too many sentences, you're going to be graded down for that. So put your theme in one sentence. I'll show you in an example here in a minute. Next, you will have a brief summary, 2 to 3 sentences. In some final essays that I see, I notice students writing the summary, and they write these words. For my essay, I decided to write about, no, that's not included here. This is a short story. Have you ever read a Stephen King novel that starts with, I'm going to tell you the story about a clown who is crazy and lives in the gutters? No. The story, you get into the story. So get out of the habit of writing what I did on my summer vacation. Or in this case, my story is about, no, don't write that. 2 to 3 sentences about what happens in this story. I know it seems like, gosh, can you give a brief summary in just 2 or 3 sentences? Yes, you can. It's called economy of words. Now, you're simply going to list the primary characters. What are they motivated by? What do they want? What do they really want? Right? So, if I have a character that is desperate for money, power, and fame, and they are motivated by this greed and lust for money, power, and fame. What does that character really want? Love, acceptance, self-esteem? I don't know. But you see what I'm saying? What they want is some material thing. What they really want is something in the heart and soul. The antagonist wants the protagonist to fail because why? The antagonist needs to have a reason for the failure of the protagonist. And then the only third one, I just need to know the main supporting character. Who's that main supporting character, and how does that character support the protagonist? That's it for that section. Motif. This is a little bit more complicated because you're creating the world of a story. Now, in my imagination, me, Debbie Hall, I can create some pretty interesting worlds. But I need to research in order to really understand the world of my story. It takes a little bit of time. And you want to honor your characters by creating a world for them to live in that has rules, that has climate, that exists, that looks a certain way and sounds a certain way. So I can't do all that in my imagination, y'all, and I have got a pretty big imagination. So the world of this story is New York City, Mars, Sahara Desert, a penal colony, a prison. I don't know. I'm creating the world of the story by studying free ebooks about, and whatever those are. I'm going to show you in the example in a minute how I did this. So you'll have my example in just a minute. So hang in there with me. Just stay with me. I'm creating the world by studying free ebooks. I watched a film. You don't have to have watched a film. It helps, but I don't have to have. But somehow, y'all, you will create the motif of the story. How are you going to do that? With your limited imagination, without knowing some facts or seeing some images, right? Okay. I watched the film to give me a feel for the colors and sounds of the world of this story. Now then, the tone of this story is what? Is it a dark story? Is it dark and brooding? Is it dim? Is it funny? Is it lighthearted? Is it ironic? What is the tone of the story? What kinds of words will you be using? And then the color scheme of this story is anything you want it to be. Now that you've studied a little bit about the world of your story, now that you've maybe watched a free film or something on YouTube or streamed something or whatever, you have a feel for what the tangibles are in that world. What does it feel like to be in there? What does it sound like to be in that world? And that will all allow you to choose the color scheme. And that's it for the motif. Next, you have the symbol. The recurring symbol in this story is what? And that symbol represents what? Yes? Point of view. The narrative is written in whatever point of view. And then you have your working bibliography, which you will complete in EasyBib. Okay? And that you will copy and paste here at the bottom. Then you will save this template that I've given to you as a PDF, and you will save that to your desktop in your folder where you're keeping all of your information for your final essay. And you will submit this where the magic words "submit" here are. Remember, no late submissions are allowed for this one. This must be completed on time. Otherwise, we will lose the timely progression of events that lead up to this final wonderful masterpiece that's your creation. Stay with me. Don't cut any corners on this, because I promise you, this is the place where you prove to yourself that you are brilliant. All right, so take time on this. Now, I'm going to start another tutorial, and that tutorial is going to take you through an example of me doing all this. All right, so I'm going to save this example, post it as the overview of requirements, and then I'm going to create another video that takes you through the process. Yes? Fabulous.